The Galactic Confederation vessel Stellar Wind emerged from hyperspace at the edge of an unremarkable solar system. Captain Valorix stood on the bridge, her crystalline form catching the light of a distant yellow star. Her species, the Lumini, had led the Confederation's expansion efforts for centuries, yet something about this mission felt different. Life signs confirmed on the third planet, reported Science Officer Kex, their neural interfaces pulsing with data. Technological civilization detected, but readings suggest early spacefaring capability only. Valorix's crystalline edges shimmered with interest. Another young species to guide into the galactic community. The Confederation had done this hundreds of times before. Find developing civilizations, make contact, and gradually introduce them to interstellar society under careful supervision. Multiple artificial satellites detected. Kex continued, primarily focused on planetary communication and observation. Primitive chemical rockets, no sign of faster-than-light technology. Perfect, Valorix responded. Alert Confederation Command. We'll proceed with standard first contact protocols. As the stellar wind moved closer to the blue-green world, more details emerged. The humans, as they called themselves, were clearly industrious. Their cities sparkled across the night side of the planet. They had established a small base on their moon, and their radio transmissions filled local space with a cacophony of signals. What the Confederation observers couldn't notice, were the quantum sensors tracking their every move. Deep within a mountain complex in Colorado, General Diana Chen watched the alien ships approach on advanced holographic displays that would have shocked the Confederation observers. "They've taken the bait," she said to the assembled military and civilian leaders. "Operation Masquerade remains intact. All our advanced tech is still invisible to their scans." The president nodded grimly. 70 years of preparation since we recovered that crashed ship. 70 years of reverse engineering alien tech while keeping everything hidden. Let's hope it was enough. For decades, humanity had maintained an elaborate deception. While publicly struggling with chemical rockets and basic space stations, they had secretly built a vast fleet using technology recovered from a crashed alien ship. Every satellite launched contained cloaked quantum sensors. Every space mission served as cover for more advanced operations. When the Confederation's first contact team landed outside the United Nations building 3 days later, they were greeted with carefully choreographed awe and excitement. Earth's leaders play their roles perfectly, eager but cautious, technologically limited but full of potential. Ambassador Xerith of the Confederation addressed the UN General Assembly, their translator converting their harmonic speech into Earth languages. "We welcome you, people of Earth, to a greater community of worlds. Under our guidance, you will advance beyond your current limitations. In time, you may even join us among the stars." The condescension in their tone was subtle but clear. Several human leaders had to suppress knowing smiles. In orbit, the Confederation ship's sensors continued their scans, finding exactly what they expected. A primitive civilization taking its first steps into space. They didn't detect the quantum fields hiding vast underground complexes. They couldn't see the fleet of advanced warships concealed in underground bases and beneath the oceans. Most importantly, they remained oblivious to the true extent of human technological achievement. "How long should we maintain the charade?" asked Vice Admiral Sarah Rodriguez during a secure meeting at the Pentagon. General Chen studied the latest intelligence reports, long enough to understand their true intentions. The Confederation claims to be benevolent, but we've detected signs of exploitation in their dealings with other primitive worlds. We need to know if they're potential allies or future adversaries. And if they discover the truth, someone asked. Chen's expression hardened. Then they'll learn humanity isn't as primitive as they think. Our fleet may be smaller than theirs, but our ships incorporate technologies they haven't even dreamed of. We've had decades to prepare while they've grown complacent. As the first week of official first contact drew to a close, the Confederation remained confident in their assessment of Earth as a promising but underdeveloped world. They never suspected that humanity was about to change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. In secure facilities around the globe, human scientists and military personnel continued their work, hidden from alien eyes. The greatest deception in human history was underway, and the Confederation had no idea they were being tested just as much as humanity was testing them. 3 months into the Confederation's guidance of humanity, the first cracks in the facade began to appear. It started with a seemingly routine inspection of a lunar mining facility, where Confederation observers noticed unusual energy readings that their instruments couldn't quite explain. Ambassador Xyrith stood in the Confederation embassy, their crystalline form dimmed with concern as they reviewed the latest reports. "These readings don't match known human technology," they said to Captain Valorix. "Yet they persist across multiple locations. Perhaps their development is progressing faster than anticipated," Valorix suggested, though her tone betrayed her uncertainty. "Some species do show remarkable advancement when exposed to new concepts." "Not this quickly," Xyrith responded. "Something isn't right." They had no idea how right they were. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known only as Deep Harbor, humanity's leaders were coming to a similar conclusion. Their deception couldn't last much longer. Admiral Helena Santos stood before the holographic display, showing the positions of both known Confederation vessels and Earth's hidden fleet. "They're getting closer to the truth," she reported to the assembled World Security Council. "Their scanning technology is more adaptive than we anticipated." General Chen nodded grimly. "We knew this day would come. The question is, do we wait for them to discover our deception, or do we reveal ourselves on our own terms?" The Chinese premier spoke up, her holographic image flickering slightly. "If we reveal ourselves, we must be prepared for their reaction. The Confederation has never faced a situation like this before. They've also never faced technology like ours," the Russian president added. "Our quantum drives are more advanced than theirs. Our cloaking technology clearly superior. We've had decades to improve upon the technology we recovered, while they've grown complacent." The decision was made. Operation Revelation would begin within 24 hours. The next day started like any other for the Confederation observers on Earth. They continued their patronizing oversight of human space development, never suspecting that everything was about to change. At exactly 1200 UTC, every Confederation communication device on Earth received the same message. "To all Confederation representatives, your attention is required. Please observe. Across the planet, massive hangar doors hidden beneath oceans and mountains began to open. In orbit, quantum fields shimmered and failed, revealing dozens of advanced warships that had been hiding in plain sight. From the lunar surface, weapon installations emerged from beneath the regolith. Humanity's mask was falling away. On the bridge of the stellar wind, Captain Valorix watched in horror as her sensors suddenly detected hundreds of ships appearing from nowhere, their design more advanced than anything in the Confederation fleet. Before she could react, her ship's quantum communications array received a transmission. The holographic image of General Diana Chen appeared on every Confederation ship and in every Confederation facility on Earth. She stood in her formal uniform, her expression stern but not hostile. "Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Confederation. I am General Diana Chen of the Earth Defense Force. For the past 3 months, you have operated under certain assumptions about humanity's technological capabilities. Those assumptions were incorrect." She paused, letting the implications sink in. "The primitive civilization you thought you found was a carefully constructed illusion. In truth, humanity has possessed advanced spaceflight capabilities for decades. The ships you now see represent only a fraction of our true military strength. Around the planet, more installations revealed themselves. Defensive platforms emerged from camouflaged positions. Shield generators powerful enough to protect entire cities hummed to life. We maintained this deception not out of malice," Chen continued, "but out of prudence. Your treatment of other primitive species raised concerns about your true intentions. We needed to understand whether the Confederation would be an ally or a threat. Ambassador Xereth's crystalline form pulsed with a mixture of shock and outrage. This is unprecedented. The deception, the hidden fleet. Do you realize what you've done? We've demonstrated that humanity won't be patronized or controlled. Chen responded firmly. We're prepared to join the Confederation as equals, not as subjects to be guided at your discretion. The choice of how to proceed is now yours. Across the galaxy, the news spread like wildfire. The supposedly primitive humans had deceived the mighty Confederation. They had hidden fleets, advanced technology, and defensive capabilities that rivaled or exceeded Confederation standards. In the Confederation's Grand Assembly, panic erupted. Some representatives called for immediate military action to suppress this upstart species. Others, more cautious, pointed out that humanity had revealed itself peacefully, even while demonstrating overwhelming defensive capabilities. Back on Earth, humanity's leaders watched and waited. They had shown their hand, revealed their true strength. Now they would see how the galaxy's great powers would respond to the existence of an equal they hadn't anticipated. The next 48 hours would determine whether humanity's bold move would lead to war or a new era of genuine cooperation among the stars. The Confederation's Grand Assembly on Capital World Nexus had never seen such chaos. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued as news of humanity's deception spread through the galaxy. The massive chamber, normally a model of cosmic diplomacy, had devolved into near panic. High Counselor Zaravex, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, struggled to maintain order. The chamber's quantum amplifiers barely managed to project her voice over the cacophony of alien languages and universal translators. Order. We must maintain order. Her harmonics resonated through the chamber. This situation requires careful consideration, not panic. From the militant sector's delegation, War Leader Crix slammed his chidnous appendages against the speaking podium. Careful consideration. These humans have made fools of us all. They've demonstrated technology that rivals our most advanced systems, hidden beneath a veil of primitive deception. We must crush them now, before they become an even greater threat. The assembly erupted in a mixture of agreement and protest. In the midst of the chaos, an unexpected voice cut through the din. Ambassador Lyra of the Ancient Worlds Collective, her bioluminescent form pulsing with calm wisdom, took the central platform. Perhaps, she began, her soft voice somehow carrying more weight than the shouting that preceded it, we should be asking ourselves a different question. Not how to respond to this deception, but why we never questioned our own assumptions about younger species. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other powers watched the unfolding situation with intense interest. The hegemony of 7 suns, longtime rivals of the Confederation, began moving fleets toward their borders. The collective of free worlds started reaching out to human diplomatic channels, sensing an opportunity to shift the balance of power. Back on Earth, General Chen and the World Security Council monitored the galaxy's reaction through their quantum intelligence network. The massive holographic display in the Cheyenne Mountain complex showed diplomatic and military movements across thousands of light years. The Confederation's response is splitting along predictable lines, reported Intelligence Director Maya Patel, her hands dancing through holographic data streams. The militant sectors are calling for immediate military action, but they're meeting resistance from the commercial worlds and the ancient collectives. Admiral Santos studied the strategic display with concern. Their military movements suggest they're preparing for conflict, even while their diplomats talk peace. 3 fleet groups are already positioning themselves within striking distance of our solar system. President Carter, attending via quantum projection from a secure location, leaned forward in her chair. And our countermeasures? In place and undetected, Chen responded confidently. If they push for conflict, they'll find we have more surprises waiting. The quantum minefields are deployed, and our deep space battle groups remain cloaked and ready. But humanity's leadership hoped it wouldn't come to that. They had revealed their strength not to start a war, but to force recognition of their right to equal standing among the stars. In orbit around Earth, Ambassador Xereth's crystalline form pulsed with anxiety as they composed their report to the Grand Assembly. The humans had requested their continued presence, even after the revelation, as a sign of good faith. These humans, they wrote, are unlike any species we've encountered. Their deception was not born of aggression, but of prudence. They hid their strength not to ambush us, but to understand us. And what they learned clearly left them uncertain of our intentions. The ambassador paused, considering their next words carefully. Perhaps most remarkably, even now, with their superior technology revealed and their military strength evident, they continue to seek peaceful dialogue. They request only equal standing and mutual respect, concepts that we, in our comfortable superiority, may have forgotten the true meaning of. As the message was transmitted across the quantum network, humanity's revelation continued to send shockwaves through galactic society. Younger species under Confederation guidance began questioning their status. Established powers started reassessing their diplomatic and military positions. In deep space, aboard the massive Confederation dreadnought Eternal Vigilance, Fleet Commander Thorn received orders from the militant sectors. The encrypted quantum burst was clear: prepare for possible military intervention. But as the commander studied the tactical data on human capabilities, a troubling thought emerged. The humans had revealed only what they chose to reveal. How much more remained hidden? The energy signatures from their ships suggested drive systems far more advanced than reported. Their defensive capabilities exceeded anything in the Confederation database. A junior officer approached with another report. Commander, we're detecting unusual quantum fluctuations throughout the sector. Our sensors can't identify the source. Thorn's appendages twitched nervously. The humans had already proven masters of deception and concealment. These readings could be nothing, or they could be something devastating that the Confederation's sensors couldn't even properly detect. The next few days would determine whether the galaxy would erupt into an unprecedented war, or whether humanity's bold gambit would force a new era of genuine cooperation among the stars. The pieces were in place, the fleets were moving, and the fate of multiple civilizations hung in the balance. The tension finally broke on what would later be known as the Day of Recognition. The militant sectors of the Confederation, unwilling to accept humanity's demands for equal status, launched what they intended to be an overwhelming show of force. 300 Confederation warships emerged from quantum space near the outer edges of the solar system. Led by the dreadnought Eternal Vigilance, the fleet represented the largest military force the Confederation had assembled in centuries. Fleet Commander Thorn stood on his command deck, multiple appendages moving across control surfaces as he assessed the situation. No response from the human forces yet, his second-in-command reported. Their fleet remains in defensive positions around their planet. Send the ultimatum, Thorn ordered, though something about the humans' calm response made his carapace itch with unease. The message was broadcast on all frequencies. Attention, Earth forces. Your deception of the Confederation cannot be tolerated. Stand down your fleet, deactivate your defensive systems, and prepare to accept direct Confederation oversight or face immediate military consequences. In the Cheyenne Mountain complex, General Chen allowed herself a small smile as she read the ultimatum. Right on schedule, she murmured before turning to her staff. Initiate Operation Checkmate. Across the solar system, humanity's response began to unfold. The Confederation fleet's quantum sensors suddenly detected massive energy signatures appearing throughout the system. Hidden installations on every major moon and planetary body revealed themselves. A vast network of defensive platforms and weapon systems activated, creating an interlocking grid of firepower that completely surrounded the Confederation fleet. But the real shock came from behind them. Where empty space had existed moments before, dozens of human warships shimmered into view, their advanced cloaking systems deactivating to reveal vessels larger and more sophisticated than anything in the Confederation fleet. The humans had anticipated the attack vector perfectly and prepared a trap that had been waiting since before they revealed themselves. Admiral Helena Santos's voice broadcasted across all frequencies. Confederation forces, you are now surrounded. Your sensors will confirm that our weapons are locked on every ship in your fleet. We have additional forces still cloaked that you cannot detect. This is your only warning. On the bridge of the Eternal Vigilance, Commander Thorne watched in dismay as tactical displays showed the true extent of their situation. The humans hadn't just matched Confederation military technology. They had surpassed it. Their ships showed energy readings that shouldn't have been possible, and their tactical positioning was flawless. "Commander," his sensor officer called out, mandibles clicking nervously, "we're detecting quantum field anomalies throughout the fleet. They'd done something to our drive systems." Thorne quickly confirmed the readings. Somehow, the humans had activated a field that prevented quantum space transitions. His fleet couldn't retreat even if he gave the order. Before he could respond, a new transmission came through, this time from Earth itself. The holographic image of President Carter appeared on every Confederation ship's command deck. "Confederation forces, let me be clear. We do not wish for conflict. What you see around you is not meant as an act of war, but as a demonstration that humanity will not be subjugated. We are prepared to defend ourselves, but we would much prefer to talk." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Your fleet is currently contained within a quantum inhibition field of our design. Your weapons remain functional. We have not disabled them because this is not meant as an attack. You can still choose to fire, but ask yourselves, if we can create technology that surpasses your understanding, if we can anticipate and counter your strategy so completely, what else might we be capable of?" In the Grand Assembly, now receiving real-time quantum feeds of the situation, the mood shifted dramatically. The militant sector's representatives fell silent as the true extent of human capabilities became clear. Ambassador Lyra of the Ancient Worlds Collective stepped forward once again. "We have made a grave mistake," she announced, her bioluminescence pulsing with emotion. "We assumed that younger meant inferior. We forgot that innovation often comes from those we underestimate. Perhaps it is we who need guidance, in humility, in respect, and in recognition that age does not always equal wisdom." High Counselor Zaravex's crystalline form resonated with decision. "Open an emergency quantum channel to Earth. Tell them the Grand Assembly requests a diplomatic summit, not as superiors to subordinates, but as equals." Back in the solar system, the human forces maintained their perfect formation around the trapped Confederation fleet. They had drawn their line in the cosmos. Now they waited to see if the galaxy's oldest civilization could adapt to a new reality, one where humanity would help shape the future of galactic society. Commander Thorne, seeing the futility of his position, made the only choice he could. "Stand down weapons," he ordered. "Signal our surrender." As the Confederation ships powered down their weapon systems, Admiral Santos opened a channel to Earth. "Operation Checkmate complete. The board is set. Now we see if they're ready to play a new game, one where all pieces have equal value." 1 month after the solar system standoff, the Grand Assembly Hall on Nexus looked very different. The traditional hierarchical arrangement had been replaced by a circular configuration, with Earth's delegation positioned as equals among the galaxy's major powers. The message was clear. The old order had changed. President Carter stood at the newly installed circular podium, her holographic presence projected across thousands of worlds. Behind her, the combined fleet of human and Confederation vessels held position in a joint demonstration of the new alliance. "Today marks not just a new chapter in human history," she began, "but a transformation of galactic society itself. The Confederation has agreed to reform its structure, moving from a hierarchical system to one of true cooperation and mutual respect." High Counselor Zaravex's crystalline form pulsed in agreement. "The humans have shown us that wisdom can come from unexpected sources. Their technology, their strategies, even their deception, All demonstrate a creativity and innovation that our civilization had perhaps forgotten in our complacency. The reforms were sweeping. The Confederation's practice of guiding younger civilizations would be replaced by a new approach of mutual exchange and cooperation. Every species would be evaluated on their actual capabilities and contributions, not their age or origin. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Santos and Commander Thorne stood together on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Joint Command Vessel Unity. The massive ship represented a fusion of human and Confederation technology, incorporating innovations from both civilizations. "Your quantum field manipulation is remarkable," Thorne admitted, his earlier hostility replaced by professional respect. "We never imagined drive systems could be refined to such a degree." Santos nodded. "And your experience in large-scale fleet operations is unmatched. Together, we can achieve things neither of our civilizations could manage alone." Deep in the Cheyenne Mountain complex, General Chen reviewed the latest reports with satisfaction. The transition wasn't perfect. Some Confederation factions still resisted the changes, and trust would take time to build. But the progress was undeniable. "We're receiving requests from 17 different species for technological exchange programs," Maya Patel reported, her holographic displays showing a galaxy increasingly connected by human-designed quantum communication networks. "And the Joint Exploration Initiative has already identified 3 potential first contact situations." Chen smiled. "And this time, we'll make first contact the right way, with honesty, respect, and genuine cooperation." The implications of humanity's revelation continued to ripple through galactic society. The younger species, inspired by Earth's example, began sharing their own innovations more freely. The Ancient Worlds Collective, humbled by recent events, started opening their archives of historical knowledge. But perhaps the most profound change was philosophical. The assumption that age automatically conferred superiority had been shattered. In its place grew a new understanding that progress could come from anywhere, and that diversity of thought and approach was a strength, not a weakness. Ambassador Lyra, now heading the newly formed Council of Cultural Exchange, summed it up best in her address to the Assembly. "The humans reminded us of something we had forgotten, that the galaxy's greatest resource is not its technology or its energy or its ancient knowledge, but the infinite variety of perspectives and possibilities that each species brings to our shared future." In the decades that followed, this new approach would lead to unprecedented advances. Human innovation combined with Confederation experience accelerated progress across all fields. The quantum communications network expanded, linking civilizations that had once been isolated. Joint fleet operations pushed the boundaries of explored space further than ever before. Earth itself was transformed. Cities reached skyward with impossible architecture that blended human creativity with alien engineering. Quantum gates allowed instant travel across vast distances, but humanity never forgot the lessons of their own deception. That true strength lay not in technology alone, but in wisdom, determination, and the courage to stand up for one's principles. In the end, humanity's greatest contribution to galactic civilization wasn't their advanced technology or military prowess. It was the reminder that progress comes not from rigid hierarchies or assumed superiority, but from genuine cooperation, mutual respect, and the willingness to see potential in unexpected places. As President Carter concluded her historic speech to the Assembly, she offered words that would be remembered for generations. "The stars have always called to humanity, challenging us to reach higher, push further, dream bigger. Now we know we're not alone in hearing that call. Together, with our new allies, we'll answer it not as superior or inferior, not as ancient or young, but as equals united in the greatest adventure our species have ever known, the endless exploration of what's possible when we work together." The galaxy had changed forever, and the dawn of this new era promised wonders that neither humans nor aliens could have imagined alone. The sleeping giant had not only awakened, but had helped awaken something greater, a new way forward for all civilizations among the stars.